Colin Gardner. Yeah.
Just waiting for a sergeant to turn up to speak to. We will be waiting a while. To make them aware that I am recording, they are aware. It's a public building and you are entitled to record.
Excellent.
Hello?
Yeah, Ben's up talking to Colin about whatever.
Right.
What's it saying?
Would you be able to,
What price? Alright, and I'll, yeah, let me phone you back in a minute. I'm just in...
Oh, right.
Yeah, bro, let me phone you back in a minute. I'm just in the middle of a police station, man. They've stolen my passport, man. Alright, and bro, see you in a minute. Right.
Oh, right. Big Ben. Yeah.
Pause. I will record all my conversations and all my stuff.
Yeah, that's
for my own
fine,
protection. No problem at all. Just a show. The reason I've come down here is I'm trying to find out some clarification before we start what I'm going into. My name's Mr. Plant.
Mr. Pratt, just for your information, what I generally do when I speak to somebody is take some notes.
No problem at all.
That's largely speaking based around my age and forgetfulness.
No worries at all.
Okay, Mr. Plant, so all I've been told so far
Is that my phone?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Is that
Mine
yours?
is. I just wondered, hold on, where's my phone?
all I've been told so far is that the front office staff have said that you've got some questions about police procedure.
Yeah.
And that normally links to something that's been happening to you in your life, or one thing.
Or I'm not happy with something.
yeah,
Right
it's
then.
not uncommon. So what I would always say is, just if you're willing, just tell me what the
Right
problem is.
then. Just to start with, right, what I want to go down to, right, is let's put a situation to yourself as a police officer. If I was walking down the road and you pulled me over and I had, my name's Mr. Ricky Plant, and I had Joe Bloggs' bank card or identification in my pocket, what would your next procedure be?
It's very tough to say because it depends what that identification is going to link to.
Yeah.
But what's clear is that obviously that sounds like that's what happened to you, isn't it? That,
No, it isn't. I'm trying to know it isn't. Well, we'll go further into
Okay.
it.
Well,
as in, what would you do as a police officer if I've got?
well, I'm going to do appropriate checks into that article to make sure it isn't stolen or one thing or that, obviously.
And how would you do them checks?
Well, again, I'm not going to go too much into detail
need
of the procedure.
that's the
because
reason I've come to yourself.
What I want to find out is what your particular issue is.
Before we get to that point, I need to clarify procedure with yourself, which is why I've asked the question.
Well, if
You're saying you would determine whether that item's stolen or not.
And if you're not, you're probably going to go on the basis of believing it may well be stolen, and then it might end up in an arrest.
Right, and so what would you do in your procedure to determine if that identification on my property is stolen or not?
Okay, well, it's obvious that we do inquiries into the person that's named on the identification, all that kind of stuff.
And then you'd try and contact that person. If I give a valid reason, not Joe Bloggs has given me permission to have that, you'd have to ascertain to see if that is a correct statement or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it may be stolen or not,
possibly.
but it may not be.
Yes, possibly. That's right. Yeah.
So let's go to right. And
But how does that relate to what you've come
hold
in
on,
for
look
today?
further in. No, hold on. So you're saying you determine that. So we can't determine whether the item's stolen or not because you can't get hold of the named person on them documents. Yeah. So then I'm arrested with these documents on myself. Yeah. During interview, I confirm that I am entitled to these documents and they're not stolen. Then what would you do?
We'd verify that.
Yeah.
You'd have to verify that, wouldn't you? Right, that's cool you said that. Right, you'd have to verify that, otherwise the person could be arrested for theft of the items. If I'm not the named person.
Well, it sounds like you were arrested. For
No, I
theft.
wasn't.
No? Okay.
No. You're jumping the gun here. I'm just going into a scenario. I'm putting a scenario to you. I'll jump in the gun.
Well,
So-
Mr. Plant, what I'm not willing to do is go ad infinitum into scenarios.
Yeah, but we've got to,
be-
because we're going over police
Why?
procedures.
What do we need to do it for?
Because obviously the police act in a certain way,
Yeah.
and they have procedures to follow.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they're not.
So-
They're not particularly rigid. Sometimes
They're
there
not
are things
rigid.
that intervene.
Of course.
Yeah.
What I'm getting to the bottom of here is, if I had some documentation on me that wasn't mine, you would ascertain whether them items are stolen or not, because I could be up for a certain charge of theft, depending on the outcome of that investigation that you carry out yourselves. Is that correct?
It could be, depending on the circumstances. So I'm saying it could
Right
be.
then. So now we'll go to my point.
Okay.
We'll go to my point. My friend was arrested. There's his documents. On the 26th of November, he was stopped in his vehicle by officers who believe that he's a suspected drug dealer. Yeah. Whilst they've searched his vehicle, my documents, my driving licence and my passport was in that vehicle. The police have arrested my friend and taken my passport and my driving licence. This was on the 26th of November
Yeah.
in Leicestershire.
Yeah.
In Leicestershire, this is what I've come to yourselves.
Yeah.
What, like I'm saying to yourself, I'm trying
Whereabouts in Leicester was it? Have you got the information?
Pinfold Gate, Loughborough.
Alright, so it's a Loughborough site.
Yeah, 26th of the 11th, 2014.
Okay.
Obviously, when the police have arrested my friend with these documents, he has
Oh, and what were the documents again?
my driving licence
Yeah.
Passport.
and my passport
Yeah.
with my name and address on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No disrespect to yourselves, I am highly well known to the police. So it wouldn't be hard to ascertain who I am and to contact myself.
Yeah.
My friend,
Well, presumably it's the address is going to be on the driving licence and passport.
the address is there, mate.
Yeah.
It's noted down.
Yeah, we'll look at that for a second.
Hang on, no. Get in a second. There's my address on that paperwork, yeah? So my friend has been released without charge. There's been no, like you said, you will try and ascertain to see if them documents are stolen or not, yeah? Today, I've had no contact from any police officer. To this day, we're talking 1 month, 1.5 months later. The only reason I've put this up is because I'm due to go on holiday in January and I can't find my passport. So I said to my pal, where's my passport? The police have took it. Listen, you're not lying to me, are ya? And I'm going mad because to replace a passport is £100 and something. To replace a driving licence is over £20. Yeah? So that's going to cost me £130 because what I'm putting to you now, that officer that took them documents has not carried out his correct procedure. If he has carried out his correct procedure, on the day that that officer took them documents, I should have had some contact to ascertain whether that person that had my documents was in legal possession. That's never been done, even to this day. So what I'm saying here is I want to report a theft of my documents against that officer that took them.
Okay, well,
It's depriving me of my property without carrying out any procedures and out contacting myself to ascertain whether that person was in legal possession or not. If it wasn't for that person, then I wouldn't know where my documents are, which is down to the police.
It's
Well-
down to the person you give them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it? My documents.
If you've lost
No,
your passport,
I haven't lost them. My
they're
documents.
with your friend.
My documents
Correct.
was in my friend's car
So you
legally.
go to your friend
and say, where are they?
Stuff, and he's
And what
told
is-
you straight away they're with the police.
What I'm saying, yeah, they're with the
And so
police.
you would ring the police, and the police would give you them back.
But what I'm saying to yourself is, like I
Would be
went
no
to
problem
before
with
we
that.
got to this. Before I went to this, I asked you what your procedures were and what you as officers.
But what we don't know is the
Why
background
he was
information.
arrested.
We don't know. We don't know.
I did. I've just told you that they arrested him for being a suspected drug dealer.
But that's
nothing
from
to do with
that's
your
from your
property.
friend, and I haven't looked at the. actual
Okay,
report.
exactly. That's nothing to do with that. Exactly what I'm saying. So the
that
drugs
is
and
just
that
nothing to do
document.
with that.
So them documents.
Nothing to do with the arrest.
So why did they take the documents?
That's what we do.
Because you believe that them documents could be stolen because that person.
That's if
Hang on.
that's if they haven't recovered them for safekeeping.
No, they've not done that. They've not done that. Hang on. I'll find out the reason. Seized as evidence.
And then we'd be contacting you and giving them you back.
Yeah.
Right. So why have I had no contact?
Well,
It's
well
probably
again,
Christmas.
with that.
No, this was in this. We're talking 26th of the 11th, love. We're talking November. I've never had no contact to this date.
Well, again, one
So
thing.
if I hadn't contacted you, you wouldn't have contacted me.
Mr. Plant, one thing we don't
So
know
why haven't
is.
you? What? So the charges have been dropped against this guy.
Yeah.
He's got no further charges. No police have contacted myself to ascertain whether them documents were stolen or that person was in legal
one of the
possession
first
or
They
not.
will do at some point.
Pardon?
They will do it.
Yeah. Well,
When? How long? I'm going on holiday next week.
Well, they don't know that, do they?
And how would they know that?
They wouldn't.
Because they wouldn't do because I haven't met no interest in contacting
Well,
me.
there's a
Why?
few things we need to do. Obviously, at the moment, I've got very limited information, so I don't know what other factors.
So right then, before we go now, I'm going to let you go off.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait in there. You do your own work. Do the investigation that you need. Find out what this officer's doing. Why he's not contacted me, and what investigation he has done regarding my. I'll wait in the front.
Well,
I'm not going to go away today.
what I will say to you is that that's probably going to be a waste of your time because let me tell you for why. I'll explain why. Just one make on. Okay. Well, firstly, the officers dealing with it may not be on duty, so I might not be able to speak to them, and I'm certainly not calling them off duty for some. For all I know, bearing in mind, you've only given me this. I've done no research on the crime, what the officers tell me or
This will be
anything.
booked into our property store and
So,
we're able to give it you back.
if for example, it wasn't in the property store and we believe the officer had it, that's a different matter. But it's been booked.
So what?
So
Like I asked you at the beginning, what procedures would you carry out? And the procedures would be carried out that you would ascertain who them documents belong to and whether they're stolen
a large
or not.
part of it is down to the investigating officer and their approach to it.
Exactly what I've come. Exactly
we
what.
can't answer.
Right.
If I was the
hold on
arresting
2
officer, no,
seconds.
listen to me. If I'd have arrested you and I was the arresting officer, I'd be able to answer every single question you're asking.
Yeah.
But you're asking us questions.
No, what
We
I
weren't
asked
there,
you. No,
we
I
weren't at the
didn't.
scene.
No, I
It's
didn't. Hold on
completely-
2 minutes,
It's
love.
completely irrelevant.
What I did at the beginning, yeah, I asked
Yeah,
you
and if that
police
person had been arrested for
procedures.
theft,
I asked you police
for theft
procedures.
of your passport, that would be different.
No, what I asked you
He's
was
been arrested for drug dealing. It's
Yeah.
a completely different arrest. We wouldn't
right.
look
Mr.
at people's paperwork.
Mr. Plant, things I need from you are: is your address still current?
Of
Is it
course,
on
my
there?
address is coming. My address is there. But why is it that nobody has made any attempt to contact me as a police?
Okay.
Why?
He's been booked in, and somebody should have contacted you.
Should
to release
have.
your
Why have they not? Nobody.
Can't answer that
Okay.
question.
Exactly why I've come
but
to
that
yourselves.
is-
Exactly. So what I'm saying to you
But that needs
is,
resolve.
I'm willing to wade into it and see if we can rectify it.
What I'm saying though,
but
is somebody
I'm-
has intentionally deprived me of my property.
but what I can't say is I'm not.
You just haven't got.
He hasn't done his job.
Well,
He hasn't done his job and contacted me regarding my stolen passport.
Again, until we've got more information, you know I can't comment on that, obviously, because I've not looked at all the
Mate,
information.
do you see this folder here? Do you know what? The police, no disrespect to yourself, yeah. I'm going through serious. This is all police, right? I know how the police work. Back in April of this year, I went to Lincolnshire and I was arrested. I was compliant as can be. Whilst in the cells, officers came in, assaulted me, and stripped me naked. Yeah. I made a serious complaint on the day. I know, you know, and everybody knows that them police stations are under CCTV, aren't they? So
Well,
that should.
I don't know about Lincolnshire. They are in Leicestershire.
Well, I am. I know they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Home Office safeguard detention of prisoners and safeguarding of staff and detainees is CCTV. Home Office regulation is all custody suites have to be recorded for my safety, your safety, and everybody else's. I know this. Yeah. It was under record. I got it. But it come 3 months later and it's edited. Yeah. It's edited. I got arrested at 13:25. Hang on. This is why I don't believe in what you're saying to me. This is why I asked you the questions I asked you before.
If you don't believe anything we say, then we're having a pointless conversation,
but I'm trying to make complaints.
You've come here to ask us something, and then you're telling us that everything we're saying to you isn't going to be true. That you don't believe anything we're saying.
What I'm saying to you,
if you don't believe anything we're saying, we're going around in circles. It's a pointless conversation.
We go around in circles. The public go around in circles, left, right, and centre.
You can make a complaint. There's no problem. You've got.
I want an allegation of theft.
Right. Well, I've told you that's not going to happen.
Why is that not going to happen?
I've told you that what I'll do is I'll refer it on as a police complaint.
That's not correct. But if somebody has taken my property without my permission,
again, you're not letting me give me opportunity to finish.
There's a procedure for
and
that.
I can't continue to go around in circles. Things I need from you are your address, a contact number, and the property reference number.
Are we logging a complaint now? /14.
And who was the officer? Do you know? Is that the officer?
His officer was Foster. Something Foster. Officer in charge Thompson. Yeah, is the in charge. But then the arresting officer was 5237 Daniel Foster. That's all I want to make my complaint against.
5237.
5237 Daniel Foster. Mate node by him. And obviously I want to make a complaint against him because...
Okay, well, the first thing I can tell you is that that's a special constable collar number.
Yeah.
So, straight away I can see why there wouldn't have been a follow-up inquiry done, because the specials don't come in frequently, etc.
So why is he carrying out the duties that he's carrying now?
Well, again, that's not down to me, that's broader, yeah. The regular officer is PC Thompson, but I can ask those questions.
What I'm saying to you, obviously I want to make a complaint because I've been out of my items have been taken. If I went and took your property, I never questioned you.
At the time, for a lawful purpose, and again, you're going on what your friends told you. You know, let's take it as read that until I've looked into it, what your friends told you could be flawed.
What do you mean that the police have got my documents?
No, as in his account of what the police have done.
If he'd have told them, hold on, no, it isn't, because if that was flawed,
Were you there?
Pardon? Was I there? No, but I've had no contact from no police.
Yeah, that's a different subject.
If my pal, no, it isn't what I'm saying, Sav. If my pal told them police that there was my documents...
You've realised you needed to go on holiday, you've looked for your passport and you can't find it. You've gone to your friend and your friend has said, I've been arrested, the police have got the items. You come to us, we're going to return them to you.
Yeah.
Yes, you should have been notified, but
nobody...
Says,
what I've said to you... No, hold on.
He's probably never been on duty since that day since. He's probably not been... in the building.
Crime reference number, Lima Oscar, / 06431 / 14/5. Now, what I'm saying to you is, when I came into this room here, I put a situation to you, is if I was pulled...
It still could take 6 weeks. I could have you on bail for 10 weeks, a year.
No, but what you said, what my man said at the beginning, hold on a minute, what my man said at the beginning is he would ascertain as to whether them documents... what have they done to ascertain that?
But like I said, like my colleague said...
What have they done? No, what have the police officers done?
Like my colleague said, that doesn't necessarily happen overnight.
Of course it does.
Not in the current climate, it doesn't.
What do you mean by the current climate? If I'm in possession...
As long as it's done in a reasonable time...
What do you call reasonable?
Well, again, it depends...
What do you call reasonable?
It depends on what the officer's workload is.
If this person hasn't been on duty since that day and isn't coming on duty until February...
Then he needs to pass that on to somebody that is on duty. You need to carry that on to somebody that will carry out the correct procedures as Lincolnshire Police are supposed to follow to state...
Well, I'm not going into anything re Lincolnshire Police and all that kind of stuff.
No, I'm not going to Leicestershire Police, have a duty to carry out correct procedures. How have they? They've not contacted me. Okay. My man stated
you
that...
You come here now and notified us, so we would then release your passport.
The police took the documents on the 26th of the 11th, not knowing if them documents... The correct procedure is you need to go and get a Leicestershire Police complaint form. I'm a member of the public wishing to lodge a formal complaint, and you are not following my requests.
Mr. Bank, we're going around in circles here.
We're not.
One of the things I do need to know is, I take it if someone contacts you, read this property, they'll be able to obtain you so you can get it back. Because that's one of the first things we need to do. While we deal with a complaint, that's not going to happen overnight. I've already explained to you.
Of course it's not. This has been going on a year.
That'll have to be passed on, okay? So I've said it has to be passed on. What are the early actions we've got to get done? It sounds like you're off on holiday, you need to get your passport and driving licence back. Is that about right?
That can wait at the moment.
It's not if you're going on holiday and you need your passport to go away.
Pardon?
If you're going on holiday
Of
and
course.
you need your passport,
Of course I
then
need
you can't
my
go out of the
passport, which
country.
is why I've come here.
So what
But
day
obviously,
do you go on holiday?
22nd
Of
January.
So you need your passport back before then, do you?
Of course I do.
So that's why we need a deadline date.
But what I'm saying, yeah, of course that right. Getting my property back is
Okay.
neither nor near or there now.
You still
what
need
date
your
do you go on
passport to
holiday?
22nd of January, I've just told you. What I'm saying to yourself though, right, is my property coming back is going to come back no matter what. That's got to happen because you've got my property. That's got to come back. Whether that comes back today, next week or not, that's got to come back.
Yeah.
What I am moaning about and what I'm here to make a complaint about is police procedures are not getting followed. If that means if that officer is not carrying out his duties properly, if that means that he's got to go and have management words of advice, famous words, management words of advice to make sure that he's doing his jobs properly, then that's what he needs. But I need to make a complaint to know that that action is going to be taken.
Mr. Plant, I've got it very clear in my mind what you're recording. Let me tell you what will happen is I will register the complaint.
That's not
Let
what
me
I
finish.
request.
And as soon as you've got a complaint reference number, what will happen is, unfortunately, they'll probably pass it to a supervisor at Loughborough because it's a different station. Okay, they will conduct an investigation into your complaint, which specifically relates to, and I've got it clear in my mind, the issue of the fact that the officer hasn't followed procedure in verifying if your documents are stolen, and if he'd have done that, you'd have got them back earlier.
I'd have got them back straight away.
Yeah,
because he'd have released my pal with them documents because my pal was in legal
possession. So I think we both agree. I've got it.
We wouldn't give those documents.
I've got
to
it
that
completely clear in my own mind.
If they'd have spoken to me on the phone
We
and
wouldn't
I
have
give...
given those documents.
Oh, no, you probably wouldn't have, because if he'd have lost them, then you'd have been at fault.
wouldn't.
Alright, yeah, you may not have done, but then you'd have made
We
an
wouldn't
appointment
release them. We'd only release them
to myself, but you'd have made a convenient time with myself and yourself to go and pick them documents up, but that's not been made because nobody's made no contact with me. So how would that ever have come about if I hadn't have come to yourselves?
What I'm planning to do, let me tell you...
Exactly my point, it might not, so I wouldn't have got my documents back,
Mr. Plant.
which is my point of my complaint of procedure is not getting followed.
Which I've got.
So can we go?
Can I tell you what my plan is?
Go on.
Okay. Clearly, I'm making a guess, but the special constable that you referred to, 5237, you might find is on duty infrequently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to task Ian Thompson, 51636.
I don't know.
Okay.
I've got documents
He's shown on there. I'm going to task him because it looks like he's had some involvement in it. Probably did the actual crime itself.
Which is the proper officer.
Okay.
So that other officer is Tom.
That is once I filled the form in, I sent it to the Professional Standards Department. It is correct. It's 110% correct.
I'm going to phone us. I believe.
I'm telling you, I cannot give you a reference number till it's registered in force. Okay? And that, basically, I'll do the paperwork, I send it
That's
off.
not right.
They register it, okay? And
No,
then they'll give
because
me a registration.
you register it as a complaint, it'll come with a number, it gets past the Professional Standards
No,
Department,
that's
they
right.
do their investigation, and then it will go back to the Sergeant
but for a
Inspector.
kick-off,
whoever's-
professional standards don't do the investigation things at this level. That's done by the
Oh no, it's a
Sergeant
local level as well.
Yes.
This ain't a serious misconduct.
Yes.
This is only a local
Local
complaint.
level
Of
investigation.
course, it's a local
Yeah.
resolution.
So
I understand
professional
that.
standards,
We're not
all
talking misconduct,
Yeah.
but for you to do that, you've got to go and log that. Give me a reference number, and then it gets delegated.
You will not get-
whether it is a professional standards, a local resolution,
Mr.
or
Pat,
whether it's a supervised.
Let me be clear. You don't get a reference number today. I can't do that for you. Okay.
Let's go and get a form. We'll fill it in.
I told you what I can
We'll fill
do
it in.
for you.
As long as I've got documentation that you filled in a complaint.
You're not
form,
going to get
I
a
can-
copy of the BC21. That's
Nah,
not
but I'm
process.
going to have it recorded that me and you have filled one of these forms in, so that means if you don't follow your procedure, it don't get logged, then you're not doing your job. I want to make sure that I'm following all procedures correct, crossing the I's and dotting the T's.
Okay. So, to be clear, I'm going to get someone who's responsible for the property, probably PC Thompson, to look into those matters with the property. We'll register a complaint, it'll go to Loughborough. As I say, I can't tell you a time frame because I don't know how long it's going to take before it goes over there. Is that
They're
right?
going to hate me. No disrespect, the police are going to hate me. Every time the police do something wrong to me, I'm going to be on this every single time.
Okay.
I'm going to follow
But
it
Mr.
to the
Plan-
I's,
Mr.
cross,
Plan-
dot the I's and cross the T's. No, it's my prerogative, ain't
But
it?
yeah, that's your prerogative.
You know what I mean?
Clearly, you have your own specific view on the police service.
Of course I do. Of course I do. Obviously, if you no respect to yourself, if this documentation, you can see what I've got here. Do you know what? Do you want to say something? Oh, stop recording. Stop recording. We don't need to. He's going to get told off He's going to get told, don't do it again. I'm going to get my documents back. He's going to get a management's word. Listen, you fucked up here. We don't need
Don't do it again,
like
exactly.
This. Of course, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. As long as you're confirming to me that your man here, somebody somewhere has not done their job properly, because I should have had my documentation back straight away, because that's depriving me of my property, isn't it?
Well, again.
Within a reasonable time.
What's reasonable time frame?
It's not that day.
Ricky, it's certainly...
We're talking 6 weeks later.
You know what, in policing, jobs like that, I know some that are live 6 months later.
That's not sufficient though as a member of the public to go about his property, which is why I'm here today to make a complaint.
Well, mate, do you know where you need to direct your complaint to? HM government. Because, like everything else, let me be clear, yeah? It sounds to me like you're the biggest fan of the cops, because you're saying, well, clearly, if you can't turn it around quick enough, there's not enough cops. You know what? Accurate. Yeah? So...
Hang on, you know what? Go and watch Dispatches Undercover Cop and you'll see. Have you seen it?
No, I don't.
Have you not seen it?
I don't watch it.
Have your ex-police officer, Leicestershire Police, she came in undercover and had us all over. Have you not ever heard of it?
What, where she had a few pictures on the wall?
A few pictures on the wall, and she sat in the office where everyone's playing cards and playing hide and seek in the police cars.
Ricky, long time ago, mate.
I know it might have been, but this is the actions of police. Right, okay. Obviously, right, you can understand, right, to be fair. But mate, I made a complaint.
You're see where it is.
No worries.
I'll get a note put on. We'll get it released.
Pick it up as soon as.
I'll tell you where it is now. Can I go and have a look?
You sure? You're on. Can you read my scroll?
No, alright.
Yeah, you better. Yeah.
Mine's just as bad.
I can tell you exactly where it is, and then you know where it is.
Mine's just as bad.
33039.
573-14.
That is a 9, isn't it?
Yes, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really.
My advice re all that, Ricky, is if you're not doing it already, communicate via email, because you can make if you're on a phone call, are they your recording?
My recordings,
they might not get all the things you're asking them to do. So if you put it in email and outline what your expectation is, it'll make it easier.
Yeah, watch this. We'll give you one page. Read that page and tell me you'd be happy. This is after requesting my CCTV. Real? An alarming read for a police force.
Have you not seen what was on the news about Lincolnshire recently?
Wow.
They've said that they're going to go out of business.
Oh yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
2018. Mate, I watch all his. I go to all his reports. You know, his IPC geezer. It's fucking John King. His name is. Lincolnshire Police. What? You phone up Lincolnshire Police and ask them my name. I've probably cost them 200 grand, mate. I'm going to smash their budget to bits. You tell me you'd be happy with that.
Yeah, well, again, as you know, I can't comment on it.
Of course you can't.
But yeah.
It specifically says, easy to provide, a significant amount of editing or masking would be required. So if you've done editing on that video, where's the original to show me what editing's been done? But you can't give it me because there's been a catastrophic error. Fucking bullshit, mate. But this is, remember, this was sent to me, like, that date, 26th of the 6th and shit. I've got them audio recorded telling me it's downloaded. I've sent the email to Support Services Department to have it downloaded. It's been downloaded, preserved and ready for the investigating officer to view. This was on the 10th of April. So where the fuck is it?
Well, mate, what you need to do is have you asked them that question? Have you filed another email?
Oh, mate, I've been, well, you can see how much work I've gone into on this. I've gone into that much work.
Any different, and this is the officer who's been marked to the RI.
What officer?
4106.
4106, what's his name?
Peter Stacey.
And that's who's been, what?
Put down on the property as the person to sort it out.
So it's still in Loughborough, so how do I go about getting it? Because that's not open. Loughborough's not open today.
The easiest way for me to do that would be to email the officer and get him to do it directly.
He's on the 2nd.
That's alright, yeah, it's sat there.
Happy with that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
As long as I get it back, you know what I mean? I don't want to be forking out £130, you can understand that, you know what I mean?